I gotta do my happy dance. I got pizza. And we love pizza. Don't we, Stitch? Period. Not gonna lie, I'm really feeling day 2 for the hair. It always grows after a day or two, and it really poofs up the way I like it. No, but for real, I'm really feeling it. It's cute. I need to start wearing it out more because I don't want it to start breaking. For those of my girls who love to wear a good ponytail, you know that hair will start breaking if you don't switch up that ponytail. What's good in the YouTube hood? It's your girl Luna Nova, and I'm back with another one for y'all this evening. All right. I know that I missed Folklore Friday last week, as well as my third eye movie review for Saturday. But listen, life was lifing, spirit was spiriting, and your girl was booked and busy. But I'm back. But because I love you guys, I decided to bring you a creepy mashup of the two. And what better subject to blend folklore and movie review than the Black Eyed Children? If you've heard of them, imagine this. You're home late at night, maybe watching a scary movie or creepy TikTok, and there's a random knock at the door. You look through the peephole, you look through the windows, and you see children, seemingly harmless, right? These children are really pale, dressed kind of strange, and they keep asking for you to let them in, or claiming that they're lost. Your instinct tells you that you want to help, but something in your gut also is telling you don't. That's when you notice it. Their eyes, solid black eyes. No pupils, just a void. And then that's when the fear sets in. Not any normal kind of fear, but that deep bone level panic that your ancestors left in your DNA. For moments just like this, something about these children just feels wrong. Some say they're extraterrestrials, and others claim that they're demons. And some people believe that they're spirits that need permission to cross the threshold of your household, kind of like vampires. And these stories have been heard all over the world. I'm talking from suburbia to the backroad country. And the creepiest part, almost every encounter with these black-eyed children, every person says that the moment that they told them no or did not allow them permission in is the very moment that these entities get aggressive. Or that when they're told no, that they simply close the door and do not allow them in, the children vanish. So tonight we're diving into the legends, the theories, and the truly chilling encounters of the black-eyed children. You tell me, would you be able to have a face-to-face encounter with these unsettling beings? I don't think I could. They are definitely not something I ever want to encounter. This is where the mashup comes into play. Let's go ahead and get into the different movies that have been centered or themed around the black-eyed children. That was weird. I know, don't make me break out my Florida water. I ain't got time for no demons or no spirits, because I definitely be having to cleanse after I get done with these reviews for y'all. I'll be playing. All right, so there is a couple of films, and I'm gonna briefly go over them because I want you guys to definitely go and watch them. The first one is gonna be The Children. This 2008 British horror film is literally about a group of children that turn violent in the middle of a winter gathering. No jet black-eyed children here, but it definitely still gives the same unsettling feeling of innocent children turning into something very dangerous and predatory very quickly. And then next up is The Village of the Damned, both the 1960 and the 1995 version. Shout out to my 1995 babies, because that was the best year of the 90s, period. This movie is about creepy, pale, emotionless, strange children with unnatural eyes and powers. The way that they stare at you like they're peering into your soul, straight out of a black-eyed children horror film, textbook. And for the found footage fans, say that 5 times fast, bleh. Black-eyed Children, Let Me In from 2016 leans directly into the legend, but it captures that same eerie knock at the door dread that we all traditionally hear about when it comes to the black-eyed children. And an honorable mention, just because I'm a horror hottie and I love horror films, I'm gonna go ahead and mention The Ring as well, because as far as her appearance, she definitely gives off black-eyed children, just minus the black eyes. Obviously the pale skin, the long hair, the wet, disheveled look that they have whenever they have encounters with people, it definitely gives all of the folklore characteristics of a black-eyed child. So basically horror loves the idea of the black-eyed children because they definitely throw in these movies in different ways. So grab your favorite snack, get you something to drink, maybe even a little plushie or something for protection, because these stories are gonna be creepy.
Do you know that the legend of the black-eyed children started after multiple people reported seeing little girls with completely black eyes in Cannock Chase, which is the area where serial unaliver Raymond Morris abducted several of his victims. An 18-year-old woman made the first report in 1982 when she was hanging out in Cannock Chase with some friends, partying and having a good time, when she said she heard a little girl screaming for help. She said she saw a little girl around 6 to 8 years old running toward the woods screaming, "Help, mommy, help." She chased after her but eventually lost her as she got to the woods. The police were called, but they never found the little girl. When Raymond Morris passed away in 2014, there was a rash of sighting of black-eyed girls in the area. One man reported, "On Saturday the 13th of September, my wife and I were walking through Cannock Chase with our dog. Once we had entered the woodland and the road was no longer visible, we started to hear the giggling noise of a little girl. To our amazement, a child no taller than 1 meter in height appeared as if out of nowhere further up the path in front of us. We stopped dead in our tracks after noticing her eyes had no color. Her head was tilted to the side in much the same way it would appear if she had been hung. She stared at us for a few minutes before running away into a densely grouped area of trees. My wife wanted to follow her, but I was having none of it." Another woman recalled, "Around 2 months ago, my daughter and I were walking through the area when we heard the screams of a young child. I couldn't tell if it was a boy or a girl, but they definitely seemed in distress and sounded very close to us, so we instantly started running toward the noise. We couldn't find the child anywhere, and so stopped to catch our breath. That's when I turned around and saw a girl stood behind me, no more than 10 years old, with her hands over her eyes like she was waiting for a birthday cake. I asked her if she was okay, and if she had been the one screaming. Then she put her arms down by her side and opened her eyes, which is when I saw they were completely black, no iris, no white, nothing. I jumped back and grabbed my daughter, and when I looked again, the child was gone. It was strange, really. I knew something was going to happen even before it did. I just had a weird feeling." And yet another mother was looking through the photos of her children in Cannock Chase in 2014 when she spotted the, quote, ghostly figure of a child in a Victorian dress standing to the left of a tree where her children were climbing. "We were on a family walk one afternoon and the kids decided to climb a tree. I stopped to take a photo, but it wasn't until I got home that I spotted a child's face looking back at me." Plenty of other people claim to have caught footage or photos of what they all say are little girls under the age of 10 with completely black eyes. So what do you think? Are these the victims of Raymond Morris doomed to haunt these woods forever?
Whatever you do, if you hear a knock at your door at night and it's black-eyed children, do not open that door. Actually, don't open the door for anyone late at night. So I've heard about this black-eyed children phenomenon ever since I was little, and one of my followers sent me their experience with them, and honestly, I'm in shock. So if you don't know, the black-eyed children are described as kids between like 6 to 16, and they often appear to be dressed in like old-fashioned clothing. They have completely black eyes, no whites, no irises, and it's the most captivating, most creepy feature about them. They typically approach houses or cars late at night asking to either use your phone or to come in. It's just the way that they ask is very unsettling. They demand to come in, and because they're children, it gives people the unexplainable feeling to let them in. So these kids have a very unnatural aura to them. It's very dark and their energy is so heavy. It's said that when you encounter them, you get a sense of dread, anxiety, terror. You just feel really uncomfortable. But there's something urging you to let them in. It's also said these kids could be lost souls of ghosts, vampires, spirits, or even aliens. No one really knows, but what people do know is that if you ever encounter these kids and you let them into your house or car, you're doomed. These kids have very dark intentions to you, but not physically, psychologically. So my follower Michael told me his story with them, and I'm just like chills all over my body. He told me this encounter didn't happen to him, but instead to his uncle. It's a generational story that his family passes down to everyone, and now he wants to share it with me and you guys just in case, so y'all don't end up like his uncle. Now, before I begin, everything that I'm saying is what his uncle documented before his tragic death. Michael told me this happened back in 1999, a few days before New Year's, and at the time, people already thought the world was gonna end on New Year's Day, so paranoia was at an all-time high. Michael said it was December 29th, 1999 on a Wednesday. His uncle was setting up New Year's decorations all around the house because his family would be coming over in just 2 days. He said it was around 1 a.m. when his uncle heard a random knock at the door. Tired from putting up decorations for nearly 3 hours, he got down from his ladder and walked over to his window to see 3 children standing at his doorstep. He said they all had blonde hair, 2 were boys tall in height, almost twin-like, and 1 small little girl. His uncle said they had on clothes that made them look like they were from 1860 and somehow took a time machine to year 1999. Michael said his uncle laughed to himself and ended up yelling, "It's too late to be knocking on people's doors," loud enough for the kids to hear him. After he said that, his uncle heard frantic knocking at the door and the voice of the little girl saying, "Please open the door, please, please open, we need help." Confused and scared because these were children, he immediately ran over to his door, turned on the porch light, and opened the door. When the door swung open and he was looking face to face at these children, he said they were pale, their hair looked really roughed up, as well as their clothes. It was almost as if they were like rolling in mud or even just on the ground. And he said each child had pitch black eyes. He remembers his body started to shake and he got this feeling of wanting to throw up. He remembers the girl pointing to the inside of the house and asking, "Can we come in?" Now keep in mind, this little girl didn't look at him once, just straightforward, no smile, nothing. Same with the boys, and his uncle said that it was like they were looking through him, not at him. Michael's uncle said he had the urge to slam the door in their face, but something about them, something about their energy made him keep that door open. So he ends up saying, "What do you guys want? Where are your parents?" One of the tall boys ended up talking and he said, "Please let us in. They're coming. We need to go inside." The other boy beside him then said, "Just give us the okay to come in. Please let us in." After he heard the words, "They're coming," he immediately told the children to come inside, completely ignoring the fact that not only did they have these pitch black, weird alien eyes, but something like his instincts were even telling him not to let them in, but he still decided to. Michael said what happened next shocked him and his family when they read over these documented diaries. His uncle said that when the kids entered the house, the lights ended up flickering on and off one time, and then they all sat on the couch staring at the turned off TV. He said he started to get a feeling of dread and unhappiness. His eyes felt heavy and he had the urge to go upstairs and sleep, which he ended up doing. He said he remembers telling the kids to make themselves at home and that he was going to bed. And then as he was walking to his room, he started to hear chuckling and then it just went blank. His uncle said when he woke up, he walked into the living room only to find the kids left. There was no trace of them, nothing. It was like a fever dream. He thought that was it and he did his good deed before the year ended, but things ended up getting a lot worse. His uncle documented how that whole entire day he started to have hallucinations of the children. He was seeing them everywhere and they would tell him to do things. Bad things that his own body and mind would force him to do, but after it was done, the kids, they would disappear again. He kept hearing laughter, his vision was acting up, and the world that he once saw was now different and dark. It was driving him to insanity. Michael said his uncle did end up reaching out to his family about this, but they did not believe him at all. Michael said his uncle probably could not handle this crazy hallucinations that were happening to him and probably really just wanted it all to stop but didn't know how, because he ended up writing these diaries explaining what he was seeing, and after he offed himself. Michael said after investigation, there were no DNA of these kids, not even when they sat on the couch. The only evidence of these children is what his uncle wrote. Now, Michael said his uncle never suffered with anything. He was not depressed. So this was very, very shocking news when his family got the call about it. But now his family never opens the door for anyone at night, and these diaries are kept as a reminder.
Have a black-eyed kid story time. The person who submitted this wishes to remain anonymous, so for the sake of the story, we're gonna call her Brenda. When Brenda was about 8 years old, she lived in a trailer home with her mom and 14-year-old sister. Now mind you, her mom used to work night shift, which meant that she would sleep for most of the day. This story took place on a Saturday morning. At about 11 a.m., Brenda is in the living room watching cartoons while her sister is in the bedroom. Meanwhile, her mom is also asleep in her bedroom. When out of nowhere, Brenda hears a knock at the door. She looks through the screen and sees a 12-year-old boy and about an 8-year-old girl standing there. Before Brenda has even a chance to say that she's on the other side of the door, the boy looks right at the window and says, "May we please come in? We can't find our way home and really need to call our parents." Brenda has always been told about stranger danger, so she didn't want to automatically open the door, so she decides to call her 14-year-old sister. When her sister comes out, Brenda explains the situation. Her sister automatically just opens the door and lets the two kids in. Quick little side note, I'm in my car making the video, just minding my business, when this random guy just walks up to my window and says, "Have a good day, I love you," and then walks away. So I ended up having to go home because that guy kept circling around the area. But back to the story. As soon as Brenda's sister let the two kids in, Brenda felt like this heaviness at the pit of her stomach. She felt like something was just wrong. Before she had a chance to even say anything, her mom wakes up and storms out of her room and starts yelling, saying, "Why are these two kids in here? They don't belong here. They need to leave." It was almost like her mom could sense like the heaviness in the atmosphere. Very calmly, the two kids just put the phone down, got up, and walked out of the door. Brenda saw from the window as they continued to walk all the way to the edge where the forest was, and they just continued on into the forest. Not long after their encounter with the black-eyed children, Brenda's mom became ill. She started to lose a ton of weight. The doctors could not figure out what was wrong with her until she was finally diagnosed with a very rare form of leukemia. In a matter of 6 months, her mom was gone. Shortly after, her 14-year-old just got up and left and completely went missing. Brenda never heard from her again. Brenda ended up going into foster care, which is a completely different story all on its own. Till this day, Brenda blames the encounter she had with the black-eyed children as the reason for why her life just completely fell apart.
My son wakes me up. He's like, Mom, you need to bless my room. I'm like, calm down. I said, what, you had an ET encounter? You know, because I was, man. I said, they became fond of me. They about time somebody came up in your room. He said, no, Mom. I don't think this was an ET. This was a demon. I said, what are you talking about? He said, I woke up. Something woke me up, Mom. And it's like 6:30 in the morning, so it's still dark. He said, but I seen her, Mom. I seen her. I said, what did you see? He said, it was a little girl standing at the foot of my bed, Mom. And she had black eyes. I said, hold up, wait a minute. I said, what the heck? I said, it was a demon? He said, I don't know. I thought you let a kid in the house. I said, I didn't let no damn kid in the house. I was asleep. We started Googling, just like we do everything else we experience. We Google, and we try to see if we can find anything to match it. Black-eyed children. There was one in my son's room in 2022, standing at the foot of his bed. I woke up, I came out of my room October the 25th. There was something dark in my son's room. I cleansed the house around 9:30, 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, my camera picks up 3 odd children that I don't know where they came from, y'all. Outside my house. Y'all saw the video. So that is why I kind of, you see what I'm saying? That's where I connected the dots. They never came back. I've been outside. I've been looking ever since. Where these kids at? It ain't the kids over there. I know them kids. Where they come from? That ship that was going by. That was a signal he was sending up. We ready? Pick us back up. These are alien creatures, y'all. Don't be deceived.
So I've made a video about my experience with the black-eyed children in the past, but it was forever ago, back when Jesus was a boy, so I'll just tell you again. I was working in an apartment building in downtown Orlando, and it was a very nasty weather day. We had a hurricane rolling through, and I heard a knock on the office door. I was just watching YouTube videos on my phone. I was just watching Trisha Paytas, if that's what I was watching. And I heard a knock on the office door, and my first thought was, like, why are you out here in this tropical disaster? My second thought was, read the sign, babe. Are we within office hours? Just come on in, don't knock. So I looked out the window because I was nosy. I want to see who I'm talking to before I have to talk to him, because I don't like to talk to anybody for real. It was 2 kids, and they were looking down, and I was like, I'm like, like, what's going on? And so I go over there, and I open the door, and I'm like, hey, where are your parents? Like, when they looked up at me, their eyes were all black, like black as this right here. And there was no surface to them. It was just 2 black holes that looked like they went on forever. When I made eye contact with them, or, you know, the lack thereof, the terror and the fear started right here and worked its way down my whole body. And I felt like something that was not supposed to be there was like running its hands down the back of my spine. I don't know how to explain that. Do with that what you will, but that's how I felt. And I'm very spiritual, and I'm very well protected. So immediately I knew something was wrong, and I'm educated on what they are, so I fortunately knew exactly what I was dealing with when I was dealing with it. So I immediately closed the door. I closed the office. I called someone who I trust. I called my boss. I was like, hey, pull the cameras. Like, you need to come see this shit. Nothing ever came of it. I never got sick. Nothing terrible ever happened to me. Like I said, I'm very spiritual and very well protected. This stuff is real, and y'all, just because you don't understand it don't mean it don't exist. I'm telling you right now, you need to respect the fact that this shit might exist, because it does. Don't tamper with it. Don't go looking for it. But if you're faced with it, know what to do. But that's my story. It was wild. I hope I never have that experience again. It was not very fun. I did not enjoy it at all. It's a story I'll always have to tell. And you can believe me or not, I don't really care. I know what I saw. I know what I saw.
So what do you think? Are the black-eyed children just urban legends born from too many scary movies? Or is it something darker, more sinister that's roaming the streets at night, knocking on doors, waiting patiently, and looking for someone foolish enough to let them in? Personally, your girl's not taking any chances. If a child shows up on my doorstep in the dead of night, he's gonna stay out there. I don't care about the knocking. Baby, you can keep knocking. I'm not letting you in. Because once I'm in and that door is locked, it stays locked. I'll say a nice little prayer for you from the other side of the door. But here's where I want to hear from you. If you ever saw one of the black-eyed children, what would you do? If you or anyone that you know has actually dealt with one of these entities or whatever it is, I definitely want to hear about it. Make sure that you drop it down in the comments or email it in so it can be featured on the next episode for Mystic Monday. But like I said, today was a special episode of a mashup between Folklore Friday and Third Eye Movie Review Saturday, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you let me know what you guys want to see more of down in the comments. And remember, if you hear a knock tonight, make sure that you look before you open that door. Make sure that you drink your water, mind your business, and stay prayed up and protected. And as always, Luna loves you. I'll be back with another video for you guys if the spirits allow it.
Give it right back, did they give it right back? This look, kitty, can I sit right back? Wanna give it right back?